Got the green light. Okay, we're streaming. Okay, so now I've got to somehow reconfigure this. God, it's been a while too. So, let me just reset. Like putting the mids to where they were, because that seems to fix a lot of problems. Then the bass needs to go down, and I need to just get it configured to my new tone. This is not going to be easy. This will be tricky. Okay. Do I still got the desktop audio off? Whoops. I do not. Okay. That's okay. Let me make sure that I'm connected. Yep, we're connected. Alright, that's just fine. Okay, so fun editing time. So first things first, I gotta get this back to its original sound, and then I gotta apply it. So it sounds like when I add the mids, it fixes a lot of problems. Like it gets rid of that nasty bass amount and then fixes it. So when I go on this one, I need to lower the bass amount. Not sure how much though. This is where I really wish I had a professional who could really, help me with this shit. Hang on. Oh, I was gonna check if it was set to public or private. It is public. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so I didn't mess up. Alright, so this should fix a lot of problems. Now I think the problem is that there's too much bass. The growing tension between the ponies and zebras scared her. She couldn't deny it. Talk of mega spells. Yep, that's the problem. Okay, so now I've got to somehow reset this so that the bass goes down. So to do that, I need to... By how much? Like, how much would I have pushed up the bass on the EQ? This was on my old computer, so I don't remember. Well, it's up on 12 here, so I am going to... Let's see. I could go with the bass or treble thingy-dingy, or I could go with this. This seems like the smarter option, but I don't know. Okay, I just need a new thingy-dingy. Flatten. Flatten. Thank you. Okay, so I need to create a starting point here. Did it make a starting point? There we go. Okay, the base is all right here, so we're just gonna doink, boink, boink. Okay, so I'm not worried about any of this kind of crap. So if it's up 12 here, we're gonna lower about 6. Let's see what happens. This is the tricky part about making an EQ. The growing tension between the ponies and zebras scared her. That seemed to fix it. She couldn't a little bit. Okay, so I'm at 6 right there. Where would I have had this? Let me think about that. Would it have been over 12 dB? No, I would not have put that high. There's no flipping way. Hey, Jed. Let me listen to it one more time. The growing tension between the ponies and zebras scared her. I think that fixes it right
She
there.
couldn't.
I think that fixes it right there. Because that's pretty dang good. Alright, I'm going to save this. We're just going to rename it as base fix. Yeah, sure. So that preset is set. And now we can just go like this. Equalization. Because that took the mids out. Now we're going to go for base fix and see if this helps. Then apply the regular EQ, because the mistakes and all that are already taken out of this audio. But I need to look for plosives and all that shit, so this is going to be a while. This is a longer reading too, so it's been one that's been kind of on hold for a while. But basically the actress that was in it, yeah, we don't get along anymore, so I'm probably going to hire a new voice actress or just do it myself. I really don't care either way. So this one's already all fixed up. It's just I need to fix the tone again. Like, I need to reverse the tone, basically, because the tone on the old computer sucked. And that's where this was originally conceived. And yep, it was recorded with my new mic because there's only one track of audio. And that seems about the right measure for about a 50% on the audio. Okay, so that probably just fixed a lot of problems. So let me just listen.
She couldn't escape it, no matter how hard she tried. Ever since the massacre in Little Horn Valley at Luna's school for gifted unicorns, things haven't been the same.
It's a little shaky, but I think I got it. Because the mic used to be like right here off to the side. That's when I recorded this. It was like right here off to the side. Now it's in front of me again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test the EQ settings that I have now. Main narration for EQ. Okay, preview that.
The growing tension between the ponies and zebras scared her.
Holy shit.
She could.
That's a lot of bass. Okay, so the bass problem isn't fixed just yet. We need to add more treble. Okay, let me see something. Let me try this, little boy. Oh, shut up. Yeah, we'll just try this one. This little setting, see if we can't get this right. Okay, we don't want the bass high or anything. We want more treble than anything else.
The growing tension between the ponies and zebras scared her. She couldn't deny it. Talk of mega spells, balefire bombs, and spellfire. It shook her to her core. She tried not to think about it, but it was hard not to. No matter how many times she pushed it out of her mind, it would always find its way back into her thoughts. She hated conflict. Always had. To be honest, she was disgusted at the very word itself. But it seemed like everywhere she looked, she could see the evidence of it. In the papers, on the news, even ponies on the street were talking about the present conflict between the ponies and the...
That's not too shabby. Let me apply that. Okay, so we applied that. Now let me go, because the open space is all just like noise gate. So let me go to the equalization again, and now let me see something. See what it sounds like now.
The growing tension between the ponies and zebras scared her. She couldn't...
That seems meh, but we're gonna cover with music and all that anyways. So I think that that setting that I just did is really good for this setting. Okay, bass and treble. That's the one. Apply. So that'll take a second. Okay. I'm just wanting to make sure that this is working. Because, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just remembered that this one actually is still kind of in the works, or not in the works, but more it was put on hold because of voice actresses. One has gotten me her lines, the other, yeah, we had a fallout. So I'm going to look for a new voice actress or just do it myself. I really don't care. But that doesn't mean we can't do things professionally here. So right now I'm just trying to fix the tone. I don't really want to re-record that entire thing. It was a long fucking story. And this is Pony, by the way. This is Pony. It's an interesting story, actually. And the author, you guys may or may not know the person. Close that. Okay, yeah, that looks closer to what you get out of just regular recording with this. So let me apply the EQ now, the correct one, and see if this fixes things so that we have a good tone, not a shitty tone. But yeah, the story is basically kind of like an end of the world kind of vibe, but it's really interesting. Like, it reminds me a lot of like 2020, or not 2020, 2012. You know, those kinds of movies, like the end of the world, you know, survival kind of movies. That's exactly what it reminds me of. But it's a really good movie, or excuse me, a really good story. And I want to give the author as much care to it as I can possibly do, because, you know, the guy is very passionate about the story. And the OC is like his profile picture, like one of the main characters is his profile picture on Discord. We're in contact, and I haven't really done anything to the story since May. So yeah, this is why I'm having to fix things now, because back in May I wasn't even on this computer. I was on another computer on a totally different EQ setting. So now I'm just resetting it to make it sound more like my now tone. Like the tone that you hear in Help. Okay, that don't look too bad. Now I need to go back to equalization. Actually, no. God, I almost did it again. Compressor first. This will take a second. So right now I'm just basically re-establishing the audio to where it needs to go. This is the easy part. Then I gotta listen through for plosives and yada 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 yada. Yeah, not fun stuff. Then when it's clean, I'm gonna run a noise gate through it again, because the noise gate settings are also different on this one. And there's some little parts in there that I don't like. I don't like them at all. Thank God I didn't release this back then, because otherwise, ugh. I'm glad I saved it to my Google Drive though. Otherwise, this probably would have never been made. I would have probably recorded it, but I don't know. So, it's hard to explain what a compressor does, but a compressor basically takes like the highest point and the lowest point of like audio and makes it so that the audio doesn't peak. Something like that. Like it takes the highest point in the entire story and lowers it to where it doesn't peak, and the lowest point to where it's not, you know, too low that it's not hearable. It helps to compress like those high and low points so that they're hearable and they don't peak. Like not too loud and not too low. Then the step after this really helps to give it just safety precautions. Because I haven't touched this in a long time. Didn't seem to do much, but holy crap. The audio waves are already looking different. Then I gotta go to normalize, set that to -3, it's perfect. And okay. Which all normalizer does is it normalizes the audio levels. It's hard to explain exactly what a normalizer does. But all those high points are gonna go down so that it doesn't peak or like distort. Do I still have that script? Yeah, I should. I'm sure I can find a voice actor, no problemo. I mean, it's a big role, but considering conflicts between dusk and twilight is a thing, yeah, I think I can find a voice actors. Okay. Yeah, that looks more like it. Okay, then noise gate is basically already applied. Do I want to do that? That's a good question. I may as well. I'm gonna run a noise gate through it once it's done anyways. The reason I did this noise gate first is because the thing is, when you do the next step, it lowers the audio, and the noise gate will shut things up if they're too low. So you want to do it when it's high, then go low. You know, the noise gate's already applied, whatever. Got to be professional about this. Hopefully the tone comes out okay. It should. It shouldn't be a big problem. But you never know. It's like I said, guys, I'm not going away from Pony. Pony is a part of my life. But, you know, I told you, it's just not going to be as frequent. I'm still going to do Pony. This has just been kind of sitting on the back burner for a while because, well, shit went down and I just kind of lost touch with it. But I was shifting through my files the other day and I remembered I had this, and here I'm like, oh right, that story. It's like I've got one on this PC from probably back in 2019 or 2018. Yeah. It's old. Very old. And it's still incomplete. But it's kind of something I think is never going to see completion because it's one of those kinds of stories. Hurry up, Noise Gate. I know, it's a lot of work, but get your ass into gear. There we go. Okay, can I... Nope, not yet. Okay, I can do stuff now. Okay, and lastly, the final EQ. this one. I want to actually listen to a preview before I do this. Okay, then. Excuse me.
The growing tension between the ponies and zebras scared her.
I can adjust that. I feel like that's okay. But let me listen.
The growing tension between the ponies and zebras scared her. She couldn't deny it. Talk of mega spells, balefire bombs, and spellfire. It shook her to her core. She tried not to think about it, but it was hard not to. No matter how many times she pushed it out of her mind, it would always find its way back into her thoughts. She hated conflict. Always had. To be honest, she was disgusted at the very word itself.
That's not bad on its own. Like, that is actually not that bad on its own.
Had changed. Princess Celestia had been dethroned, and Princess Luna took her place.
But it does get louder towards the midpoint of the story, so we're just going to look at the audio levels. Right here, why not?
As the mayor spoke.
All residents evacuate to Stable 2 at Sweet Apple Acres. This is not a drill.
The end. A nuclear fallout. The apocalypse. The end of the world. Cloudy Lime?
Oh, right.
I know M. She could also tell he was putting up a front. She'd been with him long enough to know he was also breaking up inside.
Okay, hang on. Can't believe I got right to one of the mayor's freaking lines.
Or Las Pegasus in general. Blitz added. He reached for the mic. Commissioner Blade, this is Officer Flame in Ponyville. What's the status there?
Oh, I see the problem.
There was a few seconds of silence before the older stallion came back.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep this tone. That sounds pretty good. Like when I add in like the other stuff, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Oh yeah, plosives. Ah, fuck. So now, the fun part. Sitting here for 51 minutes listening. I better get the EQ ready. 3, 4, 5.
The growing tension between the ponies and zebras scared her. She couldn't deny it. Talk of mega spells, balefire bombs, and spellfire. It shook her to her core. She tried not to think about it, but it was hard not to. No matter how many times she pushed it out of her mind, it would always find its way back into her thoughts. She hated conflict. Always had. To be honest, she was disgusted at the very word itself. But it seemed like everywhere she looked, she could see the evidence of it. In the papers, on the news, even ponies on the street were talking about the present conflict between the ponies and the zebras. She couldn't escape it no matter how hard she tried. Ever since the massacre in Little Horn Valley at Luna's school for gifted unicorns, things haven't been the same. Innocent lives were lost. She still remembered arriving at the scene that horrible day. The pink cloud emanating from within the school. The scent of it made her lungs feel like they were on fire, like they would burn right out of her chest.
What was that?
Like they were on fire, like they would burn right out of her chest.
That's fine.
Her partner ordered her to stay back and help with the blockade, keeping every pony at bay while...
Ah, there's one. I knew one would come along sooner than later. This is back before I had these headphones and I could detect plosives way better.
The blockade, keeping every pony at bay while...
Okay, hopefully this doesn't screw with the audio too much. It doesn't normally on the regular EQ, so it should be fine. Pop fix. Alright, hopefully that doesn't screw anything up.
Blockade, keeping every pony at bay while other officers and medics in special hazmat suits tended to the chaos within.
Nope.
She remembered wanting to help, but also understood he was trying to protect her from seeing all the death and from getting killed herself.
My God, my enunciation.
The look in his eyes was one she wouldn't forget. He tried to be strong, but she could read the pain on his face. He knew what was inside, and he didn't want the images to haunt her for the rest of her life. Thinking back, she was grateful for it. She remembered the moment he told her that no pony had made it out, and the feeling of her heart hitting her stomach.
Okay.
She recalled vividly punching the door of their patrol cart and feeling him hold her to console her.
This is going to be a mix.
She remembered catching a glimpse of a couple of gurneys being rolled out with body bags on them and looking away from the sight. Since that day, things changed. A lot had changed.
That sounds pretty good.
Princess Celestia had been dethroned and Princess Luna took her place. The ministry throned and Princess Luna took her place.
That's fine.
The ministry mayors were founded and efforts had been shifted on the conflict between nations. Efforts had been shifted on the conflict between...
I'm gonna put one there. Really? Come on. Oh my God. Jesus. I think I pushed the wrong mouse pad, that's why. Control R.
And efforts had been shifted on the conflict between nations. As a result, Stable-Tech was created, and stables had begun to be built across Equestria. Adverts explained they were to help preserve life, to house and protect citizens.
Actually, no, it reminds me of the Hunger Games a lot.
House and protect.
That, yeah, that's a little bit of a, that's a bit of plosive. Control R.
To house and protect citizens in the event of a catastrophe. One had even been constructed nearby, underneath the barn at Sweet Apple Acres. Stable 2. Although quite some time had passed since the tragedy, things hadn't calmed down. Talk of a nuclear fallout began to circulate, the end of the world itself. Ponies had begun signing up for the stables. At first, it seemed like preemptive precautions, but as of late, it seemed more real.
That was a bit
So much so that she had begun thinking about it herself.
Preemptive precautions.
And when the representative from Stable-Tech showed up at her doorstep discussing the stables that were being built and how she could reserve her place in one,
That was a long
how could she not think about it? But she wondered if it would be worth it. If things did progress that far.
There's one. Yeah, I was using these rinky dinky headphones at the time. So yeah. Didn't have the best hearing.
Be worth it. If things did progress that far, could she survive underground? And how long would this peace last? She sighed as she took a sip of her fruit punch, and
Oh, that's a nasty one. Control R.
sip of her fruit punch, and
Oy.
she took a sip of her fruit punch, and looked around as she swallowed. Life was moving on as normal. Well, as normal as it could get. Ponies went about their business, some aware of the possible impending danger to pony kind, others blissfully unaware or just didn't think anything of it. At a glance, you wouldn't even think things had gotten so bad, but it didn't take much looking to see the evidence. It was all around. Stable-Tech headlines in the paper, adverts on TV and on flyers in storefront windows, and billboards on roadways.
Jesus Christ.
The evidence was all around. Even if you managed to push it from your thoughts for just a second.
What the hell was that?
To push.
Can I get that any closer? Because there's nothing here except blank space.
Even if you managed to push it from your thought.
Yeah, much better.
Even if you managed to push it from your thoughts for just a second, it would always be waiting around the corner to greet you. The idea of a nuclear fallout seemed almost too crazy to be true. Yet with all the ads and warnings about it, it had become more clear that the danger was more of a probability than previously thought. Some ponies had even invested in their own private, personal shelters.
Private, personal, man, these peas. Controller.
Invested in their own private, personal shelters, building them or having them built in their backyards. Even when the idea of a stable being built near the town was realized, some ponies didn't think much of it. Some passed on the opportunities from.
Some passed on the opportunity. Yep. Yeah, I record this at night, so that's why it's so fucking quiet.
Think much of it. Some passed on the opportunities from stable tech, not believing they'd need a stable. Nothing of the sort had ever happened before. Why would it now? Others jumped at the chance, hoping to survive just a little longer.
There's one. Doesn't really matter. Controller.
Others jumped at the chance, hoping to survive just a little longer and keep their bloodline going, even if it meant living underground or inside of a mountain. Amber looked up at the sky. It was clear, with just.
That's one. Oh boy, this is gonna be fun.
Amber looked up at the sky. It was clear, with just a few puffy white clouds floating.
Few puffy white clouds. Man, me and my peas.
It was clear, with just a few puffy white clouds floating by. Times like this made it easy to forget the fear, the tension, the war. She looked down at her drink, her thoughts bouncing around. She couldn't help but take comfort in such a simple pleasure as drinking her favorite drink. In times like this, a simple pleasure was just barely enough to help one keep their sanity. She sighed and glanced around her. Across the street, she saw a flyer in the window for a Nightmare Night party being held at the gymnasium, and one next to it advertising the Nightmare Night costumes available at Costume Corner.
Okay.
She couldn't help but smile. Nightmare Night would definitely help to take every pony's mind off the war, even if for just one day. She and her boyfriend had the day off, so that meant enjoying the festivities. She looked down at her watch. She'd go back on duty shortly and resume patrol.
Okay.
She looked back up and closed her eyes, listening as a soft breeze blew. Her ear twitched as a rustle caught her attention, and opened her eyes as she turned to see a newspaper lying at her hooves.
Oh my god.
Her ear twitched as a rustle caught her attention, and opened her eyes as she turned to see a newspaper lying at her hooves. On the front was
Okay, Control R. Blink.
as she turned to see a newspaper lying at her hooves. On the front was another story about how the war was going, the economics, and the stables. The latest one had been opened a week ago.
That's one. Just a little bit too much high in audio, so let's do this.
The latest one had been opened a week ago, and ponies had already been.
Oh my god, already? Okay. Control R. Go.
Had been opened a week ago, and ponies had already been reserving their place. Others in Manhattan, Philadelphia, Las Pegasus had also opened.
Pony puns.
With the use of magic, the stables had been finished quickly so ponies could start preparing.
Hold on. Yeah, I remember there's a lot of P's in this one, so there's a lot of...
Quickly so ponies.
Right there. Prepared, yep, that's another big one.
The stables had been finished quickly, so ponies could start preparing. Ember thought of the conversation she had had with her boyfriend 2 weeks ago, about whether or not they should reserve a place. Adapting to a life inside a secluded place would be hard, if not impossible.
Okay.
Could they adapt? She wasn't claustrophobic, nor was Blitz. But having to live the rest of their lives underground in a stable surrounded by concrete and steel? No sunlight, no moon, no stars, no fresh air. She couldn't fathom the concept, yet the harsh reality was that it was a choice they had to make. Choose a stable, or choose death. Or would choosing a stable be death? Like admitting to being placed inside a steel coffin.
Yikes, that's a nasty one. Okay. Damn it, Char's getting to me.
Will be death. Like admitting to being placed inside a steel coffin and just waiting to die.
Okay,
Can I join you?
that's fine.
She looked up and saw her partner standing next to the table, holding a
Table, yeah, heavy one. Da, da, da.
saw her partner standing next to the table, holding a cup of lemonade.
Okay.
She smiled a little. Cloudy Line?
Yeah, that's right, the lines. Not sure if I'm gonna get a voice actress or not, but we'll see.
He took a seat at the opposite end of the table, noting her demeanor.
Okay.
You okay? You don't sound like yourself.
And that's supposed
She smiled slightly, feeling better at the sound of his voice, which had a calming effect on her.
Okay.
Cloudy Line?
Okay. We're just gonna skip past those.
About the stable thing, right?
Yeah.
Even though she could be brave, he knew she had fears. And these were ones he also shared with her. Cloudy Line, excuse me.
Oh. Yeah,
Been thinking about
when I edit these dialogues sometimes I say the wrong name or like burp or something like that, and I'll just cut into like signify a line goes there.
Been thinking about the same thing all morning. He sighed, leaning back. Seems like nearly every pony is talking about it at the station. She remembered hearing others talking about it while she was at HQ.
Okay.
It was basically the talk of the town.
Ay, caramba. Okay, doink. Hello, Sparrow. Call me someone who is technically new or newish here. I liked your Legend of Inky. I liked your Legend of Inky Hearts, MLP, Grimdark story, and its narration. I will admit your worst video or story narrative was the survey because the story wasn't good, and either the narration was good or not, but it was mainly the story called The Survey, which was bad. Also, I liked the Secrets Day of a Free Forest. MLP was really good. Lord Almighty. All of my narrations from like 2016 to like 20. When did I really get better? Trying to remember. I want to say that was 2019 or 2018 when I got better, got help, and actually learned how to narrate correctly. Hello, bees, Mellies. I don't know your name. Sorry.
Was at HQ.
Okay.
It was basically the talk of the town, what with everything going on. Stables, stable tech, the future. There wasn't really a place to go without hearing it. Oh wait, that's Cloudy Line. Whoopsie.
Oh. Yeah, there's another line. Okay, here comes the dialogue.
Yeah. He sighed, leaning forward and resting his forelegs across the table. Listen, whatever's gonna happen, I'm gonna be right there with you. Just remember that. She gave a light sigh of relief. Cloudy Line?
Okay, that's fine.
She gave a little smile, leaning forward and sliding a hoof across the table to rest on his.
Jep!
Cloudy Line?
Nothing, Dad.
A breeze blew around them.
God, that was a tough line to say. A breeze blew around them. My voice has probably changed a little. It doesn't sound like it, but let's see. MLP Grimdark was really good. Also, was really okay. What story are you currently narrating or editing, or both? I like this stream so far. Have you heard of Zach Movie Fan? Zach Movie Fan? Yeah, I've heard of him. Or something like that. He wrote the prank and something. Yeah, I've heard of Zach. I've talked to him very mildly, but I respect anybody who, you know, takes inspiration off of me or anything like that. He's a really nice guy. He's got a strange sense of humor, because I can't remember what subscriber special was for, but on his channel, I think this stream is gone now because I tried looking for it. I want to say it was 500 subscribers, something like that. Zach ate ghost peppers because of it while entering to a Q&A kind of thing. And I commented in his comment section because it was a live, I think it was done live, or maybe not, I don't know. But he challenged me to like a fight. It was a joke. I don't take it seriously, and I just laughed at it. You know, I thought it was funny. But kudos to them. There was another one I found recently. I can't remember their name. They're really good. I really enjoyed their voice. How did I find them in the first place? That's actually a good question. But I know it was something like studios. Something to do with studios. I know they do like MLP stuff. Actually, I can go find that real quick. Because I posted that. Man, me and my lips today. My speech impediment. Just give me a second. I'm going to save. Yeah, I might as well just save it as a project, because otherwise that's not good. Not there. Here. Yep. Okay. And we'll just wait for it to save. Okay, where did I put that? Here? I'm on my phone, by the way. Yeah, it's clear up here. Yep. 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 Okay, we're just gonna skip past all that. Let's see. Like, I can't remember how far back this goes. It was a long time ago. I just know that for a fact. Oh yeah, it's got a minute to save anyways. So, let's see. No. Oh my god, how far back does this go? Holy crap. Was it even in this chat? I want to say it was, because it's the only place I really posted in the server. It's just gonna take a minute. Guys, I'm having to go through a lot of history. I can't remember their name. I really wish I could. I know it's a simple name, I just can't remember it at the moment. Let's see, no. So, let's check. Oh man, I'm only there? Oh dear god. Wait, what was that? Okay, that's back when Anthony fucked up. Okay, we're getting a little closer. Okay, next. God, by the time it saves, I'm gonna not even find it. God, was it really this long ago? Man. Black till you see daylight. Yeah. Okay. No. I can't remember how I even found them, honestly. I don't remember how I found them. Oops. Okay, no. Okay, no. I would think it would have been before that. It's gotta be in like a promotions chat. Or something. Maybe this chat? Oh, there it is. Yeah, it was in another chat. The person's name is Tyreus the VA. And they do really good stuff. Like, they're actually really good at what they do. They narrate MLP stuff. Yeah, I don't remember how I even found them, honestly. I think I found them just by recommendation or something like that. Oh my god. Okay, I'm not even doing this shit. Clear all. There we go. Okay, now we're good. The Void MLP original stories or you mean scribble touch and funny you say Cloud9 because she's the one who was originally supposed to play the role of the female character in this story. And, well, considering what happened on Twitter, nope, not anymore. I don't hate the girl, she just blocked me. So, yeah. But that's okay. I'm sure I can find somebody to play the role. It's not that big of a role. Or, it's not that big of a deal. It's not a specific character, it's just a character that needs a voice. It's a female character with just kind of a, I don't know, it's just a tone. It's an OC. I imagine what her voice sounds like because I can hear it plain as day because I've talked to the actual author. If you want to know who it is, it's Ponyville Ranger. Which if you have been in MLP long enough and know reactors well, Ponyville Ranger is one of the top. But he's a really cool dude. I just found this story, was it even a horror? I want to say it was a horror story. But I found it, and I read it, and oh my god, yeah, it's a good story. I really like it. The ending, not so much. I really didn't care for the ending because it's really, really just kind of like, and then this happened kind of ending. Like, the family went on to live a life. Like, you know how at the end of like a true story, you'll see like the facts being told of like the aftermath of the movie's events. It's kind of like that. I really wish he would have went a little more deeper, but that's okay. By the time I was done recording this, my throat was thrashed. So, I mean, when you're in a recording booth for like over an hour, like I can't remember how long the original recording was, like an hour and a half or something like that. Yeah, it gets hot and it gets uncomfortable. So that's one thing you need to keep in mind if you're going to be a long-term narrator. Be sure you enjoy your recording area, because you're going to be seeing it a lot.
A breeze blew around them.
Okay.
He looked up at the sky, seeing a few birds fly past.
That was one. Control arm.
Seeing a few birds fly past.
That's good.
I don't know what's gonna happen, and it scares the heck out of me.
No swearing.
She leaned back, feeling the unease in her stomach at the thought.
Okay, we're just gonna skip past that. Alright, da.
All this crap.
Yeah, that's fine.
He shook his head, lowering it. And ponies are gonna suffer for it. Innocent ponies. I can't stand it. I feel like I'm not doing a dang thing to help. If things do get bad, then what? And for what? She admired him for his care for others. He hated seeing others suffer, and she felt the same. It was one of the reasons they became cops.
Yeah.
Cloudy Lime?
Yeah, that's not important.
He leaned back. What are you talking about? You're the whole reason I'm staying together. I would have already cracked if you weren't keeping me in line. She couldn't help but laugh.
She's gonna help? My god. But this was before I changed my my bass suppression settings. Because there is a way to remove pops or like, you know, plosives from your audio manually. It's just a little tricky. You need to know what you're doing. Please remind me to be careful what you push for comment.scribbler productions to comedy The recommendation and subscriptions, yeah, I know him from the Mind Sanity and the Creature, but the stories are good, but he needs to get better quality. Wait, what? Quality audio equipment. Also, what happened with the Cloud9, I feel bad because well, they go by a non-binary, so they're not a he or a she. They're a they. They're the person that's tones, especially with the thalassophobia, yeah, the fear of like deep water. MOP. Well, the whole ordeal over it is really stupid, but I won't talk about it because I've let it go.
She couldn't help but laugh, and he did the same.
That's good.
After the laughter died down, she leaned forward, crossing her forehooves on the table as she spoke.
Plus, we've got a long way to go. So, yeah.
She lowered her head down onto her arms.
Hooves. Ponies don't have arms. Basic anatomy. In the name of Scribbler.
You're not the only one that feels that way. All of this for what? Power? Greed? It's bullcrap. But Stable-Tech is insisting the stables will work. You remember that demo one we looked at? She lifted her head with a nod.
Yeah, the dialogue in this is kind of wonky. I'm not gonna lie. It is a little wonky. Whoa. So, what's this?
Whoops, I went down too far.
Oh. So, what is this?
Cloudy Line?
Okay, I must have just cut this out.
Yeah, that's what gets me. He agreed, shifting his weight to one side as he leaned to it.
Okay.
No pony knows how long the effects of a blast would last, or how long we'd have to be inside. It's a good thing neither of us are claustrophobic.
Yeah, the character does have an accent. I didn't find that out until after Ponyville Ranger told me. So, yeah, I guess the accent does fit. I found out after you told me. You know.
This she had to snicker at herself. She truly admired how he could still have a bit of optimism even in a dark moment, and she was grateful for it.
Also, back to the comment about the audio equipment thing. Yes, you do get to upgrade in time, but you don't necessarily have to upgrade your equipment if you don't need to. Like, I think Zach uses either a Yeti or a Snowball. If I remember correct, he uses the Snowball, same one that I do. Well, what I used to. But you don't need to get to levels like what I've got. Like, I've got the AT2020. So, you don't need to necessarily get to that level. It all depends on your voice and, you know, what you're comfortable with. There are some narrators that work in, like, you know, Audible, like, you know, on that kind of platform that use USB mics. So, there you go.
This she had to snicker at her.
Okay, we're just gonna skip past that.
How he could still have a bit of optimism even in a dark moment, and she was grateful for it.
Okay.
So are you glad we went ahead and reserved our spot?
Ahead.
He asked. A few days before, they had went ahead and talked to a stable tech representative about reserving their place in a stable. The sales pony first came by Ember's place to talk to her about it. She hadn't decided and asked if she could come back the next day. That night, she and Blitz talked about it. They wanted to see a stable before they made their choice. The following day, they discussed it with the sales pony again.
Okay, discussed it with the sales pony again. Yeah, I can hear some plosives in there, so let's get those out.
The following day, they discussed it with the sales pony again. They went to view a stable demo at Stable Tech to see what it was like.
That's like the future kind of crap going on here. Doink.
To view a stable demo at Stable Tech to see what it was like. It took some thought, but they both signed the forms and paid the...
Yep, that's one for sure. Control R. God damn it.
It took some thought, but they both signed the forms and paid the fee, sealing their future inside a stable. She sighed as she thought about it. Claudia Lime?
Okay, that's fine. Not worried about that shit.
If you're in the wrong for feeling that way, then I'm just as guilty. If I knew how it was going to end, I'd want my final moments to be with you.
Chap.
He gave a little smile, and she couldn't help but feel her own heart twirl.
Twirl. Yeah. Okay. Holy shit. Also good, you can just have to look for it. I can recommend good creepypasta narrations and something that Jesus Christ.
Help but feel her own.
Well, currently I'm in a state of experimenting with different things. Like, Pony isn't just what I do anymore, nor is it just horror. I want to try different things, like different genres.
Smile.
Even though I've done different genres in the past.
He gave a little smile, and she couldn't help but feel her own heart twirl.
If you're more interested in
They slid a
that,
hoof
head your
across the
base,
table
check
to
the
hold the
description.
others. Claudia Lime?
Okay, we're not worried about those.
She said, giving a slight chuckle before she lowered her hooves to her lap.
Ooh, that's a gross one. Right off the freaking tongue. Boink.
Before she lowered her hooves to her lap.
Good.
Claudia Lime?
Oosh.
I made that promise a long time ago, Em. She smiled back in response.
Okay. Yeah, when the mic was like right here, it was a little tough for me to, get some certain things correct.
She smiled back in response.
That's good.
Promise me the same thing? She cocked her head a bit, quirking a brow. Claudia Lime?
Yeah, that's fine.
Good. So, you want to come over tonight? We can talk about it over some spaghetti. She nodded. Claudia.
Okay, just skip past that. What's this?
Yeah. Be careful. She rose from her seat, tossing the empty bottle into a recycling bin.
Okay.
Claudia Lime?
Was this that awkward line, like that weird as shit line?
10-4, partner. Love ya.
Shap.
Claudia Lime? She took a step, starting down the...
Okay. Yeah, there's a few of these.
She took a step, starting down the sidewalk, when...
Okay, hang on. There's a nasty one right there, too.
She took a step, starting down the sidewalk, when... Hey, Em? She turned back.
Okay.
Claudia Lime? She turned back. She turned back.
That seems fine.
Claudia Lime? He gave her a comforting smile. Please don't stress yourself. We're in this together, no matter what happens. She smiled and walked over to him, placing a hoof on his.
Shap.
Claudia Lime?
Yeah, it is a ship.
He
technically.
winked. Remember, pasta tonight.
I think that's technically one because I can hear it, but very subtly. Like very, very low.
Remember, pasta tonight.
That's better.
She winked back.
Okay.
Cloudy Lime?
Alright.
She started walking, giving him a glance back as she waved.
Okay.
Cloudy Lime? Later.
Oh man. That's pretty quick.
Later. Later. She walked off, making her way down the sidewalk.
Okay.
She reached for the mic on her shoulder. Cloudy Lime?
Yeah.
As she walked, she looked up at the sky again. A slight chill was in the air, given that it was October. The 23rd, to be more precise. Decorations for Nightmare Night.
It's freezing here. So I can feel that feeling. The eye equipment thing I agree with. I understand with you, but it's not about Zack, it's about Tyrus. Also, besides the dying fire and creepypasta ghost stories are underrated creepypastas. Understandable, have a nice day or good day. I'm just joking, serious. Well, also doing a meme, but how are you doing? How's everyone else in chat doing? Just because. I'm doing okay. I mean, some things haven't been going correctly as of late, but I won't say. I've kind of been off, like, what's the word? Like, off posture, I guess, posture-wise, again, I guess, with, you know, with, like, narration etiquette. Like, rather than drinking that, I'm drinking Pepsi and coffee. Which is what you shouldn't do. Like, you can drink those, but you have to drink them sparingly, and I've been taking quite a bit. So I'm just trying to get my brain, you need to do the right things. Other than that, just writing music and stuff.
Was October. The 23rd, to be more precise.
Hopefully everyone had a great Merry Christmas. My Christmas was Christmas. And, yeah. My nieces got what they wanted, and, yeah, it was a good day. Ham tasted fantastic, and,
The 23rd, to be more precise.
Okay.
Decorations for Nightmare Night had long since been put up, and a costume...
That's one. Yeah, I love these headphones. They actually catch these plosives much better.
long since been put up, and a costume party was to be held in the park later that night.
That was a fucker.
But with all the talk of the stables as of late, that was the biggest thing on her mind. The idea of a small sense of normalcy was a comfort. Winter would soon be upon them, and with that, decorating for harsh warming. She tilted her hoof, checking the time. 9:23 a.m.
I think I got one.
9:20.
Yep, right there. Which, if people don't know what a plosive is, it's basically a pop. Like those little booms that you hear, like when an announcer is talking directly into a microphone. That's what a plosive is. Whoops.
9:23 a.m.
Much better.
Rounding the next corner, she heard what sounded like a shrill off in the distance.
Oh, this is.
She stopped and looked around a bit. Then, she heard it.
Boom.
An explosion, which was followed by the screams of nearby townsfolk.
Folk.
She looked around, seeing the direction the ponies were looking, and
Yep, this is where things get a little chaotic. Not for me, but just in the story itself. Like, this was a good story. I loved it, but man, this is gonna be some fun mixing.
she looked around, seeing the direction the ponies were looking and pointing in.
Ay caramba.
She
Pointing in, pointing in. Gotta hate peas. Both the letter and the vegetable.
looked around, seeing the direction the ponies were looking and pointing in.
Okay.
She looked north.
Also, this is very relevant to today. Like, when I read this, the elephant in the room that I can't say, was kinda starting to make its way in. Like, it came, like, really relevant, like a big topic. And I think June, wasn't it? May, June. It wasn't so big here. Like, this state didn't really worry about it. But it was June, I believe, when you know what actually became relevant. But this is like very relevant because this is like Doomsday. It's basically called Day Zero, and it's the beginning of the end. Not to pun the name of the episode, which was a great episode. I do agree with certain, like, you know, things that people said, like, who was it that said that the Crystal Empire's involvement was, you know, along with, like, you know, just basically stomping every freaking threat that could have stopped the bad guys. Yeah, I agree with that. I think it was Apple Geek that said that. It could have been, who's another reactor that I used to watch. Like, I really don't watch reactions all that much anymore. Who would be the Crystal Empire kind of person? I want to say it was Apple Geek, but I think it was somebody else. I could have been the Burnish React crew, probably. But I do agree. The Crystal Empire involvement was very low, and it should have been added more into. And the other aspect of curb stomping. Yeah, curb stomping, basically the original, like, Elements of Harmony. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. The way they just, like, curb stomped them in that episode was just ridiculous. Like, they just literally just, like, tossed them aside like they were just nothing. I mean, we're talking the original Elements of Harmony here. I can't remember all of them, but it was like bravery, beauty, sorcery. Oh my god. Bravery, sorcery, beauty. What was Sage Meadowbrooks? I can't remember. Healing? Maybe. Who am I missing? Of all of the originals. Crap. Okay, we get... The original Rainbow Dash was Flash Magnus. Oh my god, who am I missing? Oh, the dude with the shovel. That was... Strength. Like, strength. Who else am I missing? I know I'm missing one of them. Who's the Pinkie Pie? I don't remember. Oh my god. Yeah, I can't remember at the moment, but... Oh, what's her name? Somnambula, which was... Bravery, I believe. I don't know. The original main six basically got curb stomped, and yeah, I didn't agree with that. That would have been more of a fight.
She looked northwest and saw it, and her eyes went wide with shock.
Okay.
Cloudsdale. Or where it used to be. The sky where the floating populace...
Okay. Yeah, I did not like this mic position at all. Way too many plosives getting in there. That is nasty.
The sky where the floating populace once was now empty, save for a plume of black and green smoke that rose up into the sky. What?
Oh, Jesus. What?
Empty, save for a plume of black and green smoke that rose up into the sky.
Okay.
What happened? Where's Cloudsdale? I saw a spell hit it.
Okay.
Her eyes widened as she instinctively turned to the mare she heard say those words. A spell?
That wasn't too bad, actually.
A spell?
That's a nasty one.
A spell?
Yeah, that's fine.
She heard say those words. A spell? Could that mean? No, it couldn't possibly. In the distance, black and green smoke could be seen filling the air. It could be seen for miles. Whatever just happened was powerful enough to blow the entire...
It's basically the end of the world. Like if a nuclear warhead were to hit the United States of America. Okay, I also drink cold water in the morning. Should be equal or the same to drinking coffee in the morning, but healthier maybe. I didn't know you wrote songs and music. Where can I find your music? I don't post it because I don't have a vocalist and I don't have, like, you know, experience with making like drum midis and all that shit. I'm working on learning it, but I'm not really a music genius. I only know how to play the guitar. But other than that, I'm clueless.
Smoke could be seen fill...
Besides bass. Bass is basically just the deeper note, like the lower note of the guitar above the guitar.
Smoke could be seen filling the air. It could be seen for miles. Whatever just happened was powerful enough to blow the entire city of Cloudsdale out of the sky.
Man. The sound effects for this are going to be interesting.
To blow the entire city of Cloudsdale out of the sky. It would have taken a massive explosion to do that. Cloudsdale did have its own emergency services, but given the situation, she doubted many were functioning, and she knew that they needed every bit of help they could get.
There's another one. Fucking peas. I hate peas.
They needed every bit of help they could get. If they were even. She reached for the mic on her shirt. Cloudy Lime?
Like I said, this may seem kind of wonky right now, but once music and sound effects are added in, it makes it a lot more easier to understand. It just seems wonky a little bit right now, but trust me, when the mix is added, it's good.
She took a couple of breaths. She took a couple of breaths.
Man, there's a lot. What the hell, me? Why didn't you notice these before? Because you didn't have good headphones.
She took a couple of breaths, preparing her words and voice. Cloudy Lime?
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. She looked back at where the once thriving populace once was, and broke into a run toward it.
Trot. It's not a run, it's a trot. But, whatever. We don't always get our terminologies correct.
The once thriving populace once was, and broke into a run toward it. If a spell had hit the city, then the possibility of any pony surviving would be slim, if not, nothing. She didn't know how powerful the spell was, or the magnitude of it, but was certainly powerful enough to destroy the city. Just then, she heard the TV inside a nearby shop. It had a little static, but she could still hear it.
Oh, this Mexican.
We are hit by a mega spell.
Wait, what?
We are hit by a mega spell.
I'm gonna have to look the story up for that one.
We are hit by a mega spell. We are hit by a mega spell.
Oh, I remember what I did here. Okay, so if this is the mix right here, I'm just going to, well, the main mix, I'm just going to up this by a lot. So that fits better.
But she could still hear it.
We are hit by a mega spell.
Cloudy Lime?
Okay, hang on. Let me go back to FimFiction for that. I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm pretty sure it was like distorted, but I want to make sure about it. Just to be sure. Also, yes, we will be getting back to a process of elimination very soon. Once the author, you know, does another chapter, I will be doing that one. I will be updating it. What was it called? Day 0. Really? You son of a B-wad. I did it. Windows? Just play nice, please. Thank you. 0. I think it's under T. Do I have... Yes, I do. Okay, down, down, down. There it is. Yeah, 6,000 words. Felt way more than that. Okay, let's see. Let's do overflow point. Which was? I've been class, so I saw spell hit it. Spell that means Okay, it's right here. Somewhere. Via was hit by a mega spell. Yep, okay, so it is distorted. That's good. I'll add the static track when I get to it. This is really tough.
But she could still hear it.
Via was hit by a mega spell.
Okay.
Claudia Lime?
Okay. That's fine.
She skidded to a stop in the dirt and bolted back to the shop, looking inside at the TV.
Oh my god. Yeah, I could just cheat and literally just do the whole thing, but... Like, just Control R the... Whoa. Just like Control R the entire thing, but that's not professional. And it would probably sound forward. So, let's see, pop fix. Okay.
Claudia Lime?
Yeah, that's fine.
She skidded to a stop in the dirt and bolted back to the shop, looking inside at the TV. The anchor pony was trying to act calm, but was clearly fidgety and anxious.
Okay.
Reports are confirming that a spell had struck the city. It's unknown at this time where the spell came from, but Philadelphia was struck with a spell.
Okay. Up this a little bit. Forward. Yeah, that fits. That fits. Okay, and I'm going to add shit to it anyway, so that's going to be fine. That's why I do multiple, like, thingy-dingies. Okay, now I need to go back.
And anxious.
Reports are confirming that a spell had struck the city. It's unknown at this time where the spell came from, but Philadelphia was struck with a spell.
Claudia Lime?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Her words were broken by a wall of silence. Her words were
Right there. Not there.
words were
Right there. Okay, get back to the original equalization. Good. Good. Thank you.
Her words were broken by a wall of sirens as fire and medical personnel raced past her to the
Okay. Excuse me.
fire and medical personnel raced past her to the scene. She turned back to the screen, shaking her head slightly.
Okay.
Claudia Lime? Fire and she reached for her mic.
Okay.
Claudia Lime?
That's fine.
Frost!
Frost. Okay. So I need to up that. Five. That should be good.
Claudia Lime?
Frost!
Yeah, that's good.
There was static again. The
Frost.
blast must have disrupted the signal, but she could still make out his words.
I'm on my way. What's your 20?
Claudia Lime?
And I think Ponyville Ranger is a cop, or some sort of ranger, so he actually does know what he's talking about.
Could still make out his words.
I'm on my way. What's your 20?
That's good.
Cloudy Lime?
That's fine.
She looked around, seeing the ponies already beginning to run for home or to the stable. She made her way out into the street.
That's one. Need to get the original equalization. That's good.
For home or to the stable. She made her way out into the street to be easier to spot by her partner. For home or to the stable. She made her way out into the street to be easy.
Right there.
She made her way out into the street to be easier to spot by her partner.
Okay.
She cast her gaze towards the plume of smoke again.
Oh my god, the fucking amounts in this.
She cast her gaze towards the plume of smoke again before hearing her voice being screamed. She turned and saw Blitz running toward her. As he caught up to her, she quickly spoke, not giving him a chance to stop. As he caught up,
Yeah, that's one.
toward her. As he caught up to her, she quickly spoke, not giving him a chance to stop.
That's good.
Yeah, that's right. Cloudy Lime.
Okay.
I saw it. Her own eyes went wide, those words hitting her like a brick. Cloudy Lime?
Okay.
He nodded. The pain on his face was clear. Cloudsdale's gone. The whole city just... He shook his head. The memory burned into his mind. He'd never forget the image. The spell, the explosion, the debris. The city collapsing in a plume of smoke and green fire.
Another thing that could have been done here is you could use some different words. Like instead of plume twice, you could use like maybe a cloud or like a behemoth. I don't know.
The explosion, the debris. The city collapsing in a plume of smoke and green fire. One big... the whole city. He turned, thumping his hoof on a wall.
Okay.
I saw it, Em. She raised a hoof to his shoulder comfortingly.
Shep.
Cloudy Lime?
Yeah, that's fine.
She couldn't imagine how horrific what he had seen must have been. He looked up at her. He knew there wasn't anything he, she, or any pony could have done.
That's one. That's one.
She, or any...
Yeah, that's right here.
Thing he, she, or any pony could have done. But that one spell meant one thing. It's starting. She froze and swallowed hard, trying to focus and rationalize. She froze and swallowed hard, trying to focus and rationalize.
Confirmed reports of hits.
Okay. Control R. This was plus 4 or 5, one of the two. Try 4. That seems fine.
She froze and swallowed hard, trying to focus and rationalize.
Confirmed reports of hits in Manhattan and Philadelphia.
Ember and Blitz looked.
If you're wondering how I do that little effect, well, sorry, but it's hard to explain. Alright, we're gonna save. Okay, so we're at 23 minutes and it's about 51 minutes long. That's not too shabby. Cleaving thought from Cleaving thought from bone. I didn't know this story was called Day Zero. Sir Horror has a Nightmare Night original MLP story, and the Shadow Reader has good original, not cliche. Last episode, creepypastas like. Are you not updating? chat. I can't tell. Anyways, back to this.
Amber and Blitz looked at each other as the TV broadcast reached their ears. They turned to the shop. Amber and Blitz looked at each other as the TV broadcast reached their ears.
That's fine.
They turned to the shop they were standing in front of to see the anchor pony adjusting his necktie nervously.
Okay, Control R. Whoops, not that one. I need the EQ. Good. And there's one right here somewhere.
We're standing in front of to see the anchor pony adjust.
Right there. Gotcha. Control R.
Their ears. They turned to the shop they were standing in front of to see the anchor pony adjusting his necktie nervously.
Necktie.
To see the anchor pony adjusting his necktie nervously. They quickly closed the distance.
We have...
To see...
Okay, hang on.
They quickly...
That's a little bit of one. Keep in mind, this was back when I just barely got the mic.
They quickly closed the distance.
So it was like a work in progress.
We have reports of megaspells having hit Manhattan and Philadelphia, along with Cloudsdale. Again, we have just received reports that Cloudsdale has been hit, along with Manhattan and Philadelphia. It's happening. The end. Every pony is advised to take shelter now.
Okay. This is interesting. This will need to go much. It needs only might be like 3. Okay.
We have reports of megaspells having hit Manhattan and Philadelphia, along with Cloudsdale. Again, we have just received reports that Cloudsdale has been hit, along with Manhattan and Philadelphia. It's happening. The end. Every pony is advised to take shelter now. Philadelphia. It's happening. The end. Every pony is advised to take shelter now.
Okay, so we're gonna mix this with static anyway, so it doesn't really matter what's going on. God, the mix for this is gonna be a bitch. Okay, so we've already been over that, so that's good.
The screen went to a... The screen...
Jesus. I didn't say all. I didn't say all, you shithead. Thank you. Oops. Wrong effect. Good.
The screen went to a standby slide. The screen went to a standby
right there. Went to...
The screen went to a standby slide. Air raid sirens. The haunting sound of the town's air raid sirens pierced the air. And in that moment, panic set in. Air raid sirens pierced the air. And in that moment, panic set in. The two officers looked at each other, their eyes filled with terror. So that's a cloudy line?
Okay. Just go here.
Amber grabbed Blitz's hoof as the two started to run. Blinking back her tears and trying to suppress her fears, she reached for the mic on her shirt. Cloudy line?
Okay.
She yelled as loud as she could to the town's ponies. Cloudy line? To the town's ponies. To the town's pony.
Right there.
She knew the reality of the situation. They didn't have much time, as they had to evacuate as many as they could, and fast.
Attention, residents of Ponyville.
Oh, fucking hell. Okay, I think this is gonna have a, like an echo on it, but I'm not going to do that because only when I mix it is it going to get this crap. Okay, we're gonna have to up that about maybe 4, because that's gonna be loud. It's gonna be like a message across town, so.
And fast.
Attention, residents of Ponyville!
The loudspeaker for Town Hall came through as the mayor spoke.
Wait.
All residents evacuate to Stable 2 at Sweet Apple Acres. This is not a drill.
Not a drill.
Through as the mayor spoke.
All residents evacuate to Stable 2 at Sweet Apple Acres. This is not a drill.
It's gonna be interesting.
The end. A nuclear fallout. The apocalypse. The end of the world.
You gotta make it dramatic. Oops. Go here. Q. There we go.
Fallout. The apocalypse. The end of the world.
Okay.
Cloudy Lime? I know M.
Okay.
She could also tell he was putting up a front. She'd been with him long enough to know he was also breaking up inside.
It's so weird how those work together sometimes.
Front. She'd been with him long enough to know he was also breaking up inside.
Okay.
Cloudy Lime?
Miserable compounds. I just take some regular college work down. It usually affects me with things for writing long. I have heard of the real Shadow Reader, the one that is not Dusky Novel. I listened to one story. It was on autoplay, honestly. And I can't remember what it was about. It was a My Little Pony based one. I know that for a fact. I remember what it was about, but I don't even remember what it's called. But it's like a found tape at like a thrift store. Like I can't remember, like a Goodwill. Like a person finds a tape at a Goodwill that's basically like a lost film, and yeah, there's some pretty disturbing shit on it. Stuff that I can't say on YouTube.
I know M.
Okay, I think I've already done all this.
She'd been with him long.
Yes, I have.
We
save. Because we don't want to lose anything.
We just have to do what we can. She looked up at him.
This is gonna be interesting.
Cloudy Lime? Not a chance. He waved a hoof in the direction of Sweet Apple Acres. Every pony, heads to Sweet Apple Acres. Don't fight one another. Cloudy Lime?
Okay, so I may have to deepen that a little bit, but I don't know. Depends on how it comes out in the mix. I'm not really gonna mess with it right now.
Cloudy Lime?
Okay.
She cried out. She cried out. The two ran, directing ponies outside of the town. M!
Like, all of this is going to be a mix. Also, I turned down my gain on that. That's why it kind of sounds different. Turn down the gain knob like, you know, like this. So that you really can't hear me all that much.
The two ran, directing...
Did I?
The two ran, directing...
Yeah, I did.
Directing ponies outside of the town.
Yeah, that's good.
M! Ember skidded to a stop in the dirt and looked back to see Blitz had stopped and was looking up at the sky toward Canterlot.
Ooh.
The city was being bombarded with mega spells. From Ponyville, they could see the explosions as they deflected off the shields they assumed the princesses had erected. Her pupils shrank.
God.
Cloudy Lime?
Uh-oh.
In the distance, she could see the sky glowing a sickly green. She could faintly make out the spells as...
That's one for sure. This is a really fun story. Like, I really enjoyed it, but the ending is just I didn't really care for it.
Make out the spells as they arched and began their descent upon the land.
Upon the land.
Descent upon the...
Right there. Yeah, this is literally just like the end of the world. Like, if the world were to end. Basically, if a nuclear warhead were shot by any country.
And began their descent upon the land.
And it landed.
She shook her head, squeezing her eyes shut before opening them. Cloudy Lime?
Okay.
The two started running again. As they neared the exit of the town, all heck was breaking loose.
Oh, heck. All hell.
The two started running again. As they neared the exit of the town, all heck was breaking loose around them.
Okay.
Ponies were screaming, crying, running, pushing, and shoving each other as they fought to get to the only safe place nearby.
Okay.
Her ears were filled with the cries and screams of bystanders. Turning around, she witnessed the ensuing chaos. Ponies knocked over each other in a fight for survival, in a race to save themselves from the incoming death that was raining down. Ember went deaf to the chaos around her as she looked back toward the sky.
I think I already have an idea of what that's going to sound like.
Death that was raining.
Like, basically, like ringing ears. Like, if you hear a loud explosion, you're basically going to be deaf. Well, not deaf, but your ears are going to be ringing.
Ember went deaf to the chaos around her as she looked back toward the sky, seeing the clouds now covering the sky. Toward the sky, seeing the clouds now covering the sky.
Huh?
Officers, this is Commissioner Blade.
I'm gonna up it for now, but I don't know. Okay, up that by 4.
Clouds now covering the sky.
Officers, this is Commissioner Blade.
Came an older voice over the mic.
This is it. From here on out, it's any pony's guess what's going to happen. I'm counting on all of you to help out and do your best. This may be our last transmission. So to all of you, thank you for your service, and may God be with you.
God?
Cloudy Lime?
There's no God. Like, in that universe, there is no God. There is only Celestia and Luna. I don't know. Yeah, that might fit better.
This may be our last transmission. So to all of you, thank you for your service, and may God be with you.
Okay.
Cloudy Lime?
No, hush up.
Or Las Pegasus in general. Blitz added. He reached for the mic.
Hang on.
Or Las Pegasus in general. Blitz added. He reached for the mic. Commissioner Blade, this is Officer Flame in Ponyville. What's the status there?
Oh yeah, alright. Ah, shit. No. EQ. There we go. Sorry guys, just ignore the Facebook notifications.
For the mic. Commissioner Blade, this is Officer Flame in Ponyville. What's the status there? There was a few seconds of silence before the older stallion came back.
Nevada hasn't been hit yet, but we're already bracing for the worst. The East Coast has been hit, with Manhattan and Philadelphia being struck. I've also heard that Cloudsdale has also fallen from its place. What's it like there in Ponyville? Bad, sir.
Blitz said, as he and Ember continued to run, making it out of town.
Wait.
Bad, sir.
Oh, I think I remember what I did here. It was an accident. Shit, like bad, sir. I may have to record that real quick.
Bad, sir. What's it like there in Ponyville? Bad, sir.
Yeah, I don't like that. So, I'm gonna have to record that real quickly. Bad, sir. So that's not too bad. And that's not too much work. It's only 2 words, so that's not that big of a deal. Bring that closer. Bad, sir. Bad, sir. Bad, sir. Something like that. Okay, so I gotta back this up. Need to do the thing. Oh, the tone's gonna be a little wonky, but that's okay. Noise reduction. Same old. Noise profile. Bad, sir. Bad, sir. Bad, sir. Bad, sir. Bad, sir. I almost like this take fast. Bad, sir. I guess I'll just go for this one. 'Cause why not? Okay, now I need to go EQ first. This one. Okay. That's good. Compression. If I can find it. Jesus Christ. Normalize. Noise gate. Okay. Then it's the last EQ, isn't it? Yep. Which is the mids. Okay.
Bad, sir.
That sounds good. I'm gonna have to equalize it a little bit, but that's okay. Yep, definitely. Needs to go down just a tad. That seems good.
Manhattan and Philadelphia being struck. I've also heard that Cloudsdale has also fallen from its place. What's it like there in Ponyville?
Bad, sir. Blitz said as he and Ember continued to run, making...
Wow, I actually matched the tone damn well. But I don't like the position of it. Control Y.
Bad, sir.
Control C. Delete. Oh, wait. Need to do this kind of thing. Because I don't like where it's located. Just do about right there.
What's it like there in Ponyville?
Bad, sir.
Because I'm not worried about clipping or anything like that.
In Ponyville.
Bad, sir.
Oh my god, people, shut
Blitz
up.
said as he and Ember...
What's it like there in Ponyville?
Bad, sir. Blitz said as he and Ember continued...
That's good. For now. Okay, save. Don't want to do that again. You know, it's only 2 words. It's no big deal. And just get rid of that. No.
Blitz said as he and Ember continued to run, making it out of town and across the bridge. The sky. It's...
I know. I can see it here, too.
Blade said. They heard him sigh.
Ugh. It's actually come to this.
Cloudy, Lime?
Okay.
Blitz turned to see Ember looking toward Canterlot with wide eyes. He turned, and his own widened at the sight. A pink cloud was engulfing the city inside the protection spell. The city around the once thriving populace was now an eerie mix of green and pink. The spell flickered as if a screen. Then the spell shattered and vanished, the backdrop of green and pink painting a picture in her mind Ember knew she'd never forget. Sir, Canterlot is gone. Repeat, Canterlot is... Blitz's voice trailed off.
Okay, Control R.
Canterlot is gone. Repeat,
It was a little too loud for me, so I'm gonna... Okay, EQ. Ah, shit, wrong one. God damn it, wrong one again. God, brain, work with me. Pop fix, there we go.
Is gone. Repeat, Canterlot is... Blitz's voice trailed off. Dang it! Cloudy Lime?
It was so hard not to swear, but yeah, that's what it intends.
Ember grabbed his arm and pulled him forward as...
Grabbed his arm, pulled him forward.
Ember grabbed his arm and pulled him forward as they continued to run.
Ay, caramba. There's gonna be a lot of mixing in here.
Ember grabbed his arm and pulled him forward as they continued to run.
Officer Flame, Officer Frost, get to a stable. There's still more you can do. We may not have a chance to speak anymore, so I want to say thank you.
Oh man, that's gonna have to be retaken. Wait, do I have the original file? I think I do, actually. I think I've got the file before this one, and I can just copy and paste it. And this is at, like, what time point? Or timestamp? 30 minutes and 18 seconds. I'm gonna have to go to my drive for that one. God, that's bright. I didn't. Oh my god! I must be keep pushing the yeah, Windows button. There we go. This is the one that I need right here. Okay, so I do have the highlighted copy. No hush. What was it, like 30 minutes and 18 seconds?
The growing tension between the ponies and zebras scared her. She couldn't deny it. Voice trailed off. Dang it! Cloudy Lime?
Okay.
Ember grabbed his arm and pulled him forward as they continued to run. Officer Flame! Officer Frost! Get to a stable!
That's the best thing I can do, is just to get that and still the line and just at the effect. So you will get to see how I do this anyways. Set download. Thank you. Last episode.txt, or do you mean MLP Grimdark short films? I enjoyed. Thank you for reminding me, but I also enjoyed your skittish MLP Grimdark and a short film MLP Grimdark. It was that second one, skittish. Don't recall this. Oh, I forgot to plug my thing back in. Oh wait, I also enjoyed your narrations of Wing 8 as well as Silent Killers MLP Grimdark. Silent Killers was when I was still bad. MLP Grimdark. I have a feeling because of me listening to your editing and narration of this story that you would enjoy. I live in a town full of serial killers creepypasta. What? I live in a town full of serial killers creepypasta. Never leave your child alone in front of a mirror creepypasta. I made a new friend today of creepypasta. What we saw in the Appalachian Mountains and 6 Pretty Pebbles creepypasta. All these narrated by Mr. Creeps, and I really recommend all of it. Deadlands, Blindness, creepypasta, We Will Burn Together creepypasta. Thing is, creepypasta is really not my thing. So, and I really don't want to do the ones that everybody's done over a gazillion times right now. It's like the first one I ever wanted to try doing was actually the Russian sleep experiment, but it was a little too challenging for me. Okay. Are we downloaded? You should be by now. Yep, you are. Alright. Wow, voice just cracked majorly. Open. That's the one. In case you're wondering, this is the copy of files. This one. This is a lot more faster. And if you're wondering what this is, this was the clean version before I added the effects. So if I need to add any lines and add the effect again, this is where I go. Because you can see it's actually, it looks a little longer and a little less clean. Like it's got little pauses in here. You can see there's pauses or something in between that's pretty small. Okay. We're just going to go like this because this is the easy way. 30, 18. Okay, is this it?
Officer Flame, Officer Frost, get to a stable. There's still more you can do. We may not have a chance to speak anymore, so I want to say thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Got it. We'll see. Okay, now I need to just apply the effect again. It's not that bad. Okay. So, to do this effect, pay close attention because you're going to need to, if you want to do this, it's not easy. I'm curious. There is an EQ version of like a AM radio kind of thing. So let me see if I can't do this and make it a little more easier on myself. This is what a telephone sounds like.
Officer Flame, Officer Frost, get to a stable. There's still more you can do.
No, that's bad. Let's see, AM radio, let's cut.
Officer Flame, Officer Frost, get to a stable. There's still more you can do.
Okay, that's not it. Okay. I was hoping that I could get off easy, but... Oh, walkie-talkie. There's a walkie-talkie one. And this is technically 2 walkie-talkies, so...
Officer Flame, Officer Frost, get to a stable. There's still more you can do.
That sounds nothing like a walkie-talkie. Okay, so we're gonna have to do it the hard way. Let's see, low pass filter, high pass filters. You have to go to these little things down here where they're called the high pass and low pass filter. So the first time around is pretty easy. The frequency is fine. 6 dB. This is the thing you want to pay attention to the most. So you just push OK. It's going to shrink it, but that's normal. And then once you do high pass, you go to a low pass. And it's already set. So the frequency is fine. And you want to do 12 dB. Okay. And now here's where things get tricky, because you got to remember your pace. Because you got to do this, I do it around about 3 to 4 times. So go to high pass filter again, and this time you have to switch this to 12 dB. You basically have to reset, or like, reverse everything. So push OK again. And then we go to low pass filter, and this is at 12. We want this at 6. So we've done that twice. So now here comes this third time. Then you want to switch this to 6 again. And low pass filter. Then you want to switch this to 12 again. So we've done that the third time. Now let's see what it sounds like.
Officer Flame, Officer Frost,
It's really hard to hear. So what I have to do is I have to amplify on it. I have to apply amplify. So we're gonna up that by quite a bit.
Officer Flame, Officer Frost.
That seems fine. But I need to up it again. 8.
Officer Flame, Officer Frost, get to a stable. There's still more you can do. We may not have a chance to speak anymore, so I want to say thank you.
Okay. Oh, fuck. What happens if I add the EQ? Because I forgot to do that. Okay. I hope this doesn't fuck anything up. It shouldn't. You never know. We're just gonna go to EQ again. And just get the second one. Okay, just go up again. Wait, what does it sound like?
Officer Flame.
Sounds much better. Okay, I need to up this. 10. Okay, that seems okay.
As they continued to run.
Officer Flame, Officer Frost, get to a stable. There's still more you can do. We may not have a chance to speak anymore, so I want to say thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Now I want to give some more room here. Control C. And that's how you do the walkie-talkie effect. You don't have to do the EQ afterwards. You just have to do the high pass and low pass a few times to remember what, what dB you're at and that shit.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Blitz said. Cloudy Line? Ember said.
Thank you.
Oh, god damn it. Ow. Okay, so yeah, I think I'm going to do the same thing because with these effects applied, it sounds kind of wonky.
Thank you.
Either that or I didn't do it enough times. Let me actually lower that. Either that or let me just do the EQ. See if this gives this a little bit more breathing room. EQ. Good. Alright.
Ember said.
Thank you.
Nope, do not like that. Okay, so I think I need to take it down one more. I think I didn't do it enough times. So I think I need to do one more high pass and low pass on it. So I have no idea where I am, but do that. Low pass. That's correct.
Thank you. Thank you.
That might work. Because the effect's already applied to it, so this is going to be interesting. Why did I only go up that much? 10.
Thank you.
We're going to have to just go with that for now. I want it a little louder. So let's go up about 3. That seems good.
Ember said.
Thank you.
The transmission ended.
That sounds much better.
Cloudy Line? Ember hollered as loud as she could over the screams and the sound of sirens in the distance.
Hang on, am I got... Okay, yeah, just editing and just trying to live life. That's literally all I'm doing. You're not late to anything special. I'm just fixing some audio that I recorded way back in May. So I had to like reconfigure the audio tone, and now we're just going through looking for plosives.
They directed ponies to the outside of town, towards
Because this is back when I had my mic over here, like right by my face. Like right here to my mouth. And I did not like that position, and now you have this position.
They directed ponies to the outside of town, towards Sweet Apple Acres.
So now we're just looking for plosives. EQ. Need the pop fix one. And the thing is that, yeah, I recorded this all the way back in May, so it kind of went on the back burner for a while because of the female VA that was supposed to play the role. But we've had a fallout now, so I will be looking for different voice actors, but for now, I'm just going to be fixing this.
They directed ponies to the outside of town, towards Sweet Apple Acres. Toward Hope. In their sprint, they kept their eyes open for other ponies needing help.
That's all you can do, live life the very best. Yep, exactly. Hi Sparrow, did you have a good Christmas? Yep, got to see my nieces open their presents and have, well, I didn't get to see them open their presents, I got to see them open our presents that we got them. I got my niece, My Little Pony, like rock painting kit. She knows it's me because I'm the pony uncle. She knows me by My Little Pony, so that's pretty cool. She symbolizes me as Rainbow Dash. Like all of our family is a character. But other than that, yeah, we had a good ham, we had a good time, and we just enjoy time as family.
Out of town, towards Sweet Apple Acres. Toward Hope. In their sprint, they kept their eyes open for other ponies needing help.
Okay.
When a mare tripped over a fallen tree and fell, Ember and Blitz quickly stopped and helped her back up.
That seems fine.
As they ran down the dirt road and entered the apple farmlands, in the distance, rotobirds were hovering and flying overhead. Stable tech technicians and other officers were rushing to help direct the crowd to the stable. Everything was happening so fast, it was hard to think.
And if you're wondering what this is, well, this is kind of an apocalypse, like if the world were to end kind of story. It's written by Ponyville Ranger. And yeah, this one's been on the back burner for a while. And I had the audio sitting, so I figured I better fix it, and because I want to get this one out. This is a damn good story. I just don't care for the ending as much, but I like the idea. The fucking mix is going to be a pain in the rear, but it's cool. I really like the idea of the story. It's a post-apocalyptic, well, not post-apocalyptic, but It's like if the world were to end. It's very relevant to today's standards because basically they live in a world where they're constantly in fear of like the world coming to an end because there's like rumors of things like nuclear warfare and all that shit. So yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Fast, it was hard to think. Above, the sky was glowing a brighter green. It was almost over. Everything was almost over. She prayed. She prayed as she ran, praying for just a little more time. Arriving at Sweet Apple Acres, Stable-Tech officials and other...
Hang on. So basically our two main characters are cops, and they're doing their best to basically get every pony to safety in things called stables, which are like underground bunkers, like of safety.
Little more time. Arriving at Sweet Apple Acres, Stable-Tech officials and other officers were directing ponies inside the stable. A stallion began pushing his way through the crowd, knocking ponies aside, prompting Blitz to call out.
I hate people like that.
Hey, stop pushing! There's plenty of room inside the stable for every pony.
Okay. Again, I had to turn my gain down because, yeah, I was screaming. Well, I wasn't screaming, but I was being loud. So I need to up that a little bit by 3.
Hey, stop pushing! There's plenty of room inside the stable for every pony.
We'll fix it. Somehow.
In a panic, the stallion ended up pushing Blitz. Causing him to trip over a rock and hit the ground with a hard thud.
Oh boy.
Cloudy Lime,
Okay.
Ember skidded to a stop and ran back.
That's one, for sure. Control R.
Ember skidded to a stop and ran back to...
Did I not get the right sound? Oh, I must have had on Amplify. Whoops, doodle. I didn't mean to do that.
Ember skidded to a stop and ran back to him.
Hang on, what was that?
Ember skidded to a stop and ran back to him.
Oh yeah, I remember my mic pulled some shenanigans.
To him. Every pony for himself! The stallion cried as he glanced back to the two, continuing to run. Cloudy Lime,
What an asshole.
Ember yelled before turning back to Blitz, skidding to a stop and grabbing his arm. Cloudy Lime,
Ponies don't have arms.
she started to help him up, but he yelped in pain. Ugh. Dang it. My hoof's sprained. Bad. Cloudy Lime? No. He looked up.
Hold on.
She started to help him up, but he yelped in pain.
I mean, that is kind of plosive, but not so much, but whatever.
Started to help him up, but he yelped in pain. Ugh. Dang it. My hoof's sprained. Bad.
Okay.
Cloudy Lime? No. He looked up at her. Don't wait for me. Her eyes widened as she froze.
Okay.
Cloudy Lime? Get to the stable! Cloudy Lime?
Okay.
You can start a new life, Em. She shook her head, gripping his hoof.
Alrighty.
Dang it, Em. Why do you have to be so stubborn?
Because she loves you.
Cloudy Lime? Her voice softened a little.
That's a bit of one. Control R. I need to save. We've got about less than 20 minutes left.
Cloudy Lime?
Me and burps, swear.
Jeez. You're stubborn as Tartarus. He smiled. but I love you for it. She smirked. Cloudy Lime?
These two.
She helped him to his hooves, swinging one of his forearms around her shoulder as she helped him run.
Now you've got the right terminology.
Cloudy Lime? The two made it up the hill and saw the barn in the distance, but they were farther behind than the rest of the group. Blit.
Yep. Control R. Alright. Do you drink soda while recording? No. That's a no-no.
Behind than the rest of the group. Blitz feared they'd be locked out, and it would be his fault. Just leave me and get...
Control R. This reminded me of when I had to play, what's his name? Orion from, Rainbow Factory. I wasn't sure how to portray the character.
Blitz feared they'd be locked out, and it would be his fault. Just leave me and get...
Shut up.
Her voice was stern, determined. She looked at him, her blue eyes burning fiercely.
Hey, I have blue eyes.
But you've got a chance to continue living.
Worried about that?
Don't talk like that. She felt his strength leaving him, his leg too painful to keep him steady. But she kept pulling him.
She kept pulling him. Control R.
Steady. But she kept pulling him. She couldn't, no, wouldn't give up. Cloudy Lime?
Okay, that's fine.
He looked up to her, then back to the ground. He knew the answer without having to think. No, I wouldn't. Cloudy Lime? She gave a slight smirk. He smiled back at her. Climbing the hill,
Control R.
He smiled back at her. Climbing the hill, they made it to the entrance to the apple cellar. A few guards were ushering ponies inside when the two officers made it up the hill.
Again, right here, it seems like the writing was rushed just a teensy little bit. Because it seems like they get away from, like, the problem a little too easily.
A few guards were ushering ponies inside when the two officers made it up the hill.
Oy. Control R.
When the two officers made it up the hill. Cloudy Lime?
Okay.
Ember called out, getting their attention. Ember called out, getting their attention.
That is a nasty one. Let's get that out.
Ember called out, getting their attention. A sound. One like she'd never heard before. A screech. A loud, eerie, soul-piercing wail came from overhead. She looked up just...
Control R.
A loud, eerie, soul-piercing wail came from overhead. She looked up just in time to see a green sphere streak across the sky, heading northwest.
Okay.
Cloudy. Cloudy Lime? She uttered. The blast. The shake. Ember cried out as she fell to the ground. She felt the whole area... The blast. Ember cried out as she fell to the ground. She felt the whole area vibrate around her. She managed to open her eyes just enough to see, and when she did, they shot open. Another green and black plume of smoke. The same one that rose up from Cloudsdale. In the distance, a cloud of green and black smoke.
I'm starting to think that Dash was drunk more than just crazy working for the Rainbow Factory. Well, if you read Reborn, you know how I felt about it. Sparrow does drink Pepsi, or at least he said so a while ago. I do. but not when I'm recording. Recording etiquette rule number 1. Do not drink anything caffeinated. Before or during, do not drink anything caffeinated. You can have like maybe 1 cup of coffee, which I would need honestly, but do not drink heavy amounts of like, caffeinated things before or during recordings. I used to drink coffee while recording, and that was a humongous mistake, because caffeine basically dries out your vocal cords. So you want your vocal cords to be nice and moist so they can, be set for more longer term things. Which, if you're in a recording studio for like, in the case of like MLP VAs, 4 hours a day, like 4 hours in one day, then you want to have your voice set to where you can do stuff for a long time. So drink either water or natural tea. No sugar. You can do that after you're done. Like, drinking caffeine isn't forbidden in other in your off days. You can drink soda and all that, no matter how much you want. But just don't drink excessive amounts of it, and keep yourself limited. And learn to like water, because you're gonna have a lot of it. I always have a bottle of water set for whenever I record, and always within hand's reach. Anyways, going.
In the distance.
I can tell my voice also right here was starting to get tired, because I can hear it in my voice. It was towards the end where I was really starting to lose it.
In the distance, a cloud of green and black smoke rose up into the sky. Inside, now!
That's fine.
One of the other Stable-Tech technicians.
3.
Into the sky. Inside, now! One of the other Stable-Tech technicians shouted. Another Ponyville officer rushed over, grabbing Blitz by his other forearm as he and Ember helped the injured stallion inside. The cellar door closed behind them. The last...
Hold on.
Inside. The cellar door closed behind them.
Yeah. It's unsettling. Control R. Oops. Nope. We need to go to the right one. There we go.
The cellar door closed behind them, the last guard making sure it was secure. The cellar door closed behind them.
What the hell? I must have ended it on a wrong place, so let me try again.
The cellar door closed behind them, the last guard making sure it was secure before he followed them down the stairs into the cellar. The group made their way down a corridor that connected to the Apple cellar door to the stable itself. The group made their way down a corridor that connected to the Apple cellar door to the stable itself. A few Stable-Tech officials were ushering ponies inside.
Ponies? Yeah.
Stable-Tech officials were ushering ponies inside. Ember, Blitz, and the other Stable-Tech officials made their way up to the giant gear-shaped entryway. Right, this
sounds like the beginning of, like, Fall of Equestria. I've never read the full book, but I do know some things about it, Fallout Equestria. Like how... Oh god, what's the main character's name? Lil Pip, I think? Basically goes against the rules and basically goes out into the world that sucks.
Officials made their way up to the giant gear-shaped entryway. Right this way. A Stable-Tech assistant motioned every pony through the large steel door. Ember and Blitz looked at the door as they waited for the few ponies ahead to enter, and followed them inside.
Okay.
As they entered the stable and started up a small stairway to the upper floor, a mare that stood by a control box pushed a button. A light began flashing as a warning. Stairway to the upper floor. A mare that stood by a control box pushed a button.
Ah, shit. If you're not careful, you can get that. Okay.
A mare that stood by a control box pushed a button. A light began flashing as a warning siren began going off. Blitz leaned against a nearby wall, taking weight off of his leg. Ember continued holding his hoof, his arms still.
Control R.
Blitz leaned against a nearby wall, taking weight off of his leg. Ember continued holding his hoof, his arms still around her shoulders. Suddenly, she noticed something down the corridor out of the corner of her eye. She turned around to see a few other ponies running down the corridor toward the door. Cloudy Line?
Okay.
No time. The door's closing.
Okay, you jerk. Yeah, this really reminds me of like 2012. If you've ever seen that movie with John Cusack in it. A lot of people shit on that film. I actually liked it. It was a pretty good film for what it was. I mean, it's just another, like, you know, end of the world kind of movie, but this is what this is reminding me of. Like, when they're all trying to get into, like, the big ship that's, like, the safe zone, I guess.
Cloudy Line?
Like, the safe haven.
No time. The door's closing. One of the Stapletech officials stated. Cloudy Line? She said frantically, glancing back at the door as a giant mechanical arm began closing it.
Let's see, troll. It's on the same one, isn't it? Yep. Or no, it's not. It's. Okay.
She said frantically, glancing back at the door as a giant mechanical arm began closing it. Once this closes, it can't be opened. Cloudy's Line?
Okay. Let me up that a little bit by 4.
Closing it. Once this closes, it can't be opened.
Oh, I don't like that. Okay, so what timestamp are we at? We're at 39:01. Oops. 9:01.
Cloudy's Line?
Ay, ay, ay.
Once this closes, it can't be opened. Cloudy's Line?
Okay, grab that. See, that's why you keep backups. Okay, I gotta do the EQ set. You're seeing the, like, making process of, like, conflicts between Dusk and Twilight's audio, like, pretty closely. Compressor first. Normalize. And then the thing. That seems good.
Began closing it. Once this closes, it can't be opened.
Okay, we're going to go Q. Not that one. There we go.
Closing it. Once this closes, it can't be opened. Cloudy's Line?
Okay, that's good. Oh shit, I can't see the chat. I like post photos. Is it me? Some vibes from Twilight's transmissions. That was pretty loud. I think the window behind my computer actually shook from that one. I saw there was one to do with I don't know, gives the rest of the Rainbow Factory universe story. It's actually a close. Like, what I wrote it right after I listened to the story Awoken, which is a much better Rainbow Factory story if you ask me. And yeah, I was not pleased, so I wrote a story where basically Scootaloo comes back from the dead and basically finds the real truth of why Dash is the way she is. If you know me well, you know the main thing that irks me about a villain being written is if he doesn't have a backstory or a motive. He or she. Rainbow Factory Dash never had a motive, so I gave her one.
She ran down the steps and slowly stopped halfway to the door as it closed and sealed shut. With a blast of steam and grinding of steel, the door closed. The arm that pushed the door closed returned to its former position, and the flashing light and wail of the warning ceased. Amber stood there for a moment before walking to the door, feeling as low as dirt. Her eyes squeezed shut as she sniffed and leaned against the door.
Okay.
Claudia, a hoof slammed against the door as she sniffed again.
Ay, caramba.
A hoof slammed against the door as she sniffed again.
Sounds like I'm stuttering against the door. What did I do here?
Against.
Lean that back a little bit.
Against the door.
Let me back that up a little bit.
Against the door as she sniffed again.
That's good.
This time letting her tears fall freely. She pulled away from the door and took a shaky breath before wiping her eyes. She turned and started walking back. She pulled away from the door and took a shaky breath before wiping her eyes. She turned and started walking back up the stairs. Her gaze lifted to that of her boyfriend, who held out a foreleg to her.
It's cult friend, not boyfriend. But whatever.
Who held out a foreleg to her. Claudia?
Okay.
She closed the remaining distance quickly as she embraced him, sniffing as she buried her face into his chest.
Ship. It is a ship, so.
Distance quickly as she embraced him, sniffing as she buried her face into his chest.
Okay.
Shh. I know you did. It's not your fault. You couldn't have saved them. No pony could. An older mare cleared her throat and gestured through a door into another room behind her.
Hang on.
The older mare cleared her throat and gestured through a door into another room behind her.
That's one. Control R.
And gestured through a door into another room behind her.
Okay.
Viola line?
Oh yeah, her.
Blitz turned his head to look back as Ember lifted hers to see the.
Control R.
Blitz turned his head to look back as Ember lifted hers to see the other older mare. He looked back at the younger mare that he was holding. Come on, we better follow her. Ember lifted her head and nodded. Claudia? She sniffed, and he offered her a little smile, and she couldn't help but smile a little smile back. She mouthed a thanks before she helped him move off the wall. Following
Hold on.
sniffed, and he offered her a little smile, and she couldn't help but smile a little.
Right there. Gotcha. That's an STP.
She couldn't help but smile a little smile back. She mouthed a thanks before she helped him move off the wall. She mouthed a thanks before she helped him move off the wall. Following every pony else.
That's a nasty. Control R. I think the one will be behind ours. MLP Grimdark reminds me of the Me MLP. Oh, that one. Also, if you like this, you would enjoy Dominac. Dominamana. MLP from Door figure. I really don't listen to Scribbler anymore because of personal reasons, but at least the executive got his turn. Yeah, he did.
Following every pony else, they made their way down a corridor and underneath a lit sign that read Atrium. As every pony stopped in the room, Ember helped Blitz over to a...
Oy. How did I miss that one? That's a nasty one. Controller.
Stopped in the room. Ember helped Blitz over to a nearby wall where he sat down, sliding to the floor with a heavy sigh. She sat down next to him, also giving a sigh. Their attention was directed to the crowd of ponies in the room.
Attention!
How long?
Oh yeah, that's right. I had to play multiple ponies.
Also giving a sigh. Their attention was directed to the crowd of ponies in the room.
Okay.
How long we gonna have to stay down here? Crowd of ponies in the room.
Controller.
Directed to the crowd of ponies in the room. How long we gonna have to stay down here? We can't live down here. What about every pony outside? The mare that led them into the room spoke into the intercom.
Okay, that's Viola's
Viola
line.
line? Corrected. Silence fell across the room as most ponies bowed their heads. Ember and Blitz did the same as most ponies
Right there.
across the room as most ponies bowed their heads.
Did I miss it or what?
Fell across the room as most ponies bowed their heads. Ember and Blitz did the same and lifted them when they heard the mare speak again. Viola line?
Okay. I think her name's Overmare, if I'm not mistaken.
A guard stepped up to the two officers, handing them each a blue shirt. Every pony has to wear these.
Okay.
Blitz unfolded the garment and held it up, then turned around, noting the yellow 2 on the back.
Controller.
Garment and held it up, then turned around, noting the yellow 2 on the back. Not exactly a fashion statement. Ember rubbed his arm, giving a comforting smile. Cloudy line?
Okay, next.
Why didn't you leave me behind? Because of me, you almost got caught in the blast. Her head leaned back against the wall, giving a soft smile.
My god, what was up with my voice that night?
Her head leaned back against the wall,
Oops.
giving a soft smile.
Go to sleep.
Cloudy line?
Okay.
Blitz sighed and rubbed a hoof down his face. He returned her a smile. Don't know what I'd do without ya. Cloudy line? They touched foreheads together before the mare spoke up again, making them look up. Viola line?
Okay. I know I've got her lines somewhere. I think they're in my Google Drive, if I'm not mistaken.
Mare spoke up again, making them look up. Viola line?
Okay.
She smiled.
Is this the cut?
Ember looked around the room.
Yep.
It was horrible. No windows, no real color. Just a dull room with nothing to spice it up.
Oh,
She wondered if she could really live like this, and for how long.
See what reminds me of the Hunger Games, because in Mockingjay Part 1, Katniss goes to District 13, which is an underground military facility that is made in secrecy to avoid the big boys from figuring out that they're still alive. They're military, so they learned how to adapt underground, unsighted from, what's their names? The capital.
Ember looked around the room. It was horrible. No windows, no real color. Just a dull room with nothing to spice it up. She wondered if she could really live like this. Well, I think it sucks.
Wait, what?
And for how long? Her thoughts were drawn back to...
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, I think I'm on the same one still.
Sucks. Her thoughts were drawn back to reality as Blitz stepped into her room, looking at his new uniform. But beggars can't be choosers, I guess.
Only problem with that, Devil Dog, is that, basically, No Sleep Stories have gotten, like, copyrighted, so the copyright thing is kind of hard to get around on that part. I mean, I like those kinds of stories, but I don't know. It's a lot of work.
Her thoughts were drawn back to...
Like, I don't mean that as a bad thing, but I mean it's a lot of work to actually get to narrate the story.
Her thoughts were drawn back to reality as Blitz stepped into her room, looking at his new uniform.
And creepypastas are the exact same way anymore. The majority of them are copyrighted, and you normally have to, and you sometimes have to ask the author for permission, or the author, you know, has copyright to the story, so you need to be careful.
But beggars can't be choosers, I guess.
Okay.
She couldn't help but give a little smile. Claudia Lime?
Mochi's death. I don't recall Moochie from Christine. I've only seen the movie a few times, so don't mind me if I, you know, don't know who it is.
She couldn't help but give a little smile.
Oops.
She couldn't help but give a little smile. Claudia Lime?
Okay.
Yours looks better. He remarked. It's more form-fitting to your, form. He rubbed the back of his neck shyly.
These two.
Claudia Lime? He looked around the room. It was no different than his. Guess this is our new life, huh? She sighed as she looked around, leaning back a bit. Claudia Lime?
Okay.
We'll just have to adapt the best we can. He said, leaning against the wall.
That had a lot of plosives in it.
We'll just have to adapt the best we can. He said, leaning against the wall. Make the best of it however we can. Claudia Lime?
Okay.
Her head hung low. She looked distantly at the floor. Claudia Lime?
Okay.
Maybe. But hey, you've got me.
There's a lot of freaking dialogue right here.
Claudia Lime? There was a brief moment of silence as the two shared a comforting smile.
Okay.
Claudia Lime? Yeah? Claudia Lime?
Okay.
He walked a bit closer. What are you talking about? If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have made it into the stable. I owe you my life. I need to thank you. She shook her head a bit.
Did I do a double take on his acting? I think I did. Yeah, I think so. One of the bullies that destroyed Christine to mess with Arnie. Depends on which one it was. Was it the one that gets cornered and basically rammed up the wall by Christine?
Claudia Lime?
So it's the one that basically is killed off screen when it corners him into that alleyway or something like that.
She patted the bed next to her, and he walked over to sit down next to her. Claudia Lime? She glanced down to his bandaged hoof as she pointed a hoof at it.
That'd be a pretty grisly death. It's probably explained in the book, but yeah. not something I prefer to see. Do I want to see a remake of that movie? Not really. I mean, it's good the way it is, so don't bother with it. Like, look at what they've done to Pet Sematary. Pet Sematary was fine. Leave it alone.
Down to his bandaged hoof as she pointed a hoof at it. He held it up, giving it a wiggle. Still sore, but it's okay. The splint is really helping. You did a dang good job with it.
Even, like, his girlfriend being, like, you know, a nurse. If you ever watched, like, Mockingjay, Part 1, you'll learn that Primrose, which is Katniss's sister, becomes a nurse, or, like, a doctor, to help with the, you know, survivors in the District 13.
She gave a dismissive wave of her hoof.
That's why when I read this, I'm like, I'm getting a lot of vibes of Mockingjay.
Maybe you should try your hoof in the infirmary. I'm sure they could use some pony like you. He suggested. Claylime. She sighed. We can still be guards, he said optimistically, giving her some renewed hope.
Okay.
I'm sure you'll figure out how to use that... What did they call it? Cladylime?
It's not a mess up.
Yeah, that thing. I'm sure you'll be working with that in no time. She gave a light chuckle.
I can't remember what it was, honestly.
Cladylime?
Okay.
He snorted. Oh, yeah, sure. Give or take several years. She had to laugh, and it felt good. Even during that moment when the world was falling apart outside, it was such a comfort having some pony there.
That's one. Hell, if fanfiction were actually copyrighted, I'd be making a lot of money on my fanfiction account because my first fanfiction still gets traffic.
Comfort having some pony there. Some pony that she cared for that felt the same about her. And to laugh. Cladylime?
Okay.
Thanks. She leaned into him, nuzzling him as she hid her face in his side. Cladylime?
I can't tell how many times I said shit while reading this. Trolar.
Leaned into him, nuzzling him as she hid her face in his side.
Okay.
Cladylime? Sure. What do you need? She looked up to him.
Okay.
Sure. He said with a gentle nod.
He said was a little aggressive.
He said with a gentle nod.
That's fair.
She saw him smile and found herself...
I don't know what that was, but...
She saw him smile and found herself smiling back. She just wanted to be sure he was there, to feel him, to make sure the world wouldn't rip him away from her. I was going to ask you if you wanted to spend the night with me, but I was afraid I'd sound too forward and that you'd smack me upside the head.
I'm sorry, the relationship between these two is hilarious. Like, they're like she's like the enforcer and he's just a doof.
I was going to ask you if you wanted to spend the night with me, but I was afraid I'd sound too forward and that you'd smack me upside the head. He gave a silly grin, and she had to laugh.
Okay.
Cladylime?
Next.
She moved her arms around his waist.
It's not arms.
He moved an arm around her, pulling her close.
It's not arms.
Anytime, Em. He moved an arm around her, pulling her close.
That's good.
Anytime, Em. We'll get through this. I know we can.
Okay.
Cladylime? Okay.
Final part. Yay.
Life in the stable moved forward slowly. Day by day, the events of the last day became more distant, though it would never be forgotten in the minds of those that lived through it. Ember and Blitz continued to carry out their duties as guards for the stable, with Ember working as a medical assistant from time to time. In the months that followed the sealing of Stable 2, with Ember working as a medical assistant from time to time. In the months that followed the sealing of Stable 2, Blitz proposed to Ember, and she happily said yes.
Ship.
The two were married in the atrium and lived the next several years.
Again, there's a wedding in Mockingjay Part 2. Ay, caramba. So many references to, like, Mockingjay.
The two were married in the
Yeah, it's plosive.
The two were married in the atrium and
I heard that.
The two were married in the atrium and lived the next several years in the stable happily married. Ember later gave birth to a healthy baby, adding another spark of life to her and Blitz's family. As time passed,
Control R.
adding another spark of life to her and Blitz's family. As time passed, Blitz and Ember taught their child the ways of the old world. They regretted that their child never grew up to see the sunrise, the sunset, the moon, or the stars, or to know the beauty of the world outside. They hoped that someday the stable door would open and life on the... They hoped that someday...
Yep, right there.
They hoped that someday the stable door would open and life on the surface could begin again. But that time never came. Still, the family of three were happy. They had each other and made many fond memories together. Ember and Blitz both lived many more years, until the day when their time slowed to a stop. The two passed away in their sleep together, leaving behind their child and their two grandchildren. Their child would always remember the smile the couple wore as they passed away peacefully, knowing they had been together until the end. Like their parents, the child
Control R.
peacefully, knowing they had been together until the end. Like their parents, the child grew up hoping that one day the door to Stable 2 would open up. But that day never came, because it was in Stable 2 that ponies were born. It was there they would die. In Stable 2 that ponies were born. It was there they would die, because in Stable 2, no pony ever enters, and no pony ever leaves.
Control R. And we're done. Thank God. Okay, so I think the levels are pretty good. Like, we're hitting about where we want to hit, about between this area right here. So now I want to just export it as something different. First things first, MP3. Okay. Whoops. Day 0. Narrative clean. Nope, none of that's needed. All right, well, that was fun. Not really, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. We only needed one re-record, and yeah, that was pretty good. How did we do on time? Probably 2.5 hours, guessing. Let's see where we at. We are at a total of... I was close, about 2.5 hours, 10 and 18 minutes above. So almost about 3 hours. That wasn't too bad. Oops. Alright. And I promise, guys, you know, stuff is coming, but just give me, you know, time. Like, right now, it's just a matter of experimentation with a lot of things and just trying different genres. But this one, I still want to do a pony a pony story, maybe at least once a month. Maybe at least once a month. Once a month I can handle, but two, no. Just because of the fact that there really isn't much color right now in the fandom, and it's just all over the place. Like, I've read some good ones and bad ones. I've got some in my arsenal if I need to honestly use them. But right now, I'm experimenting with music. I'm experimenting with different genres. Again, if you're of age and interested in that kind of thing, check the description. There are links to my Gumroad where I am selling 18 plus stuff. But only 18 plus debit credit card can purchase. So please take heed to the warning. And if you are interested in how it sounds, just check the most recent demo on my channel and you'll know. Clement thought from Bone. How does his own stories and creepypastas originals accept with permission? What? Who now does his own? Oh, that's a new person. Blessing in Disguise, the second, I'm more upset and angry about how you see the second one is. Shire narrated last episode of creepypastas, good and bad ones, reviews them and improves writers. He also wrote his own good, not cliche last episode of creepypastas. He was very blank. But yeah, at least we know that Christine wasn't done with Dennis and Lay. You're not gonna tell me that the wind was able to move that part of the grill. Taken down ones I'm a fan of. I mean, first it is Sociopathic Pasta, who was taken down for an upsetting Stories.com narrations many years ago, and who is now with a new channel called Cleaving. Okay. Getting itched. So, the mix for this one is going to be interesting, but I need to find voice actors before I can do anything. Which I will follow up on that. But, thank you guys for chatting with me, sticking around. For now, we are done, and yeah, just thank you for the continued support. And again, like I said, there's all sorts of stuff coming to the channel. It's not just Pony anymore. And yeah, we're just doing new stuff. I mean, that's the best way to put it. And I'm happy to do it because, Pony just got boring for me, but this one I want to get done because I really like this story. It's a very interesting and very fun kind of story. I like these kinds of stories that have like apocalyptic kind of feels to them, like the end of the world. When we know that we cannot continue to be assholes. Well, it's basically when it tests, like, okay, when it tests our ability as human beings. How would we react to something so, we know the world's over, so how do we react? Do we help, or do we do what that one dude did to Blitz? Run, and just basically push anybody over that, gets in your way. Are you that selfish? Or are you actually somebody who cares? It tests the nature. I mean, given how, we've dealt with what, is currently going on, I hope not to even see relativity to that within the next, 100 years. Because many people are saying that 2021 is going to be a better year. Not necessarily. I mean, it's just another year, guys. I mean, the events don't change. We go off where we left in 2020, but I'm hoping it's better than worse. But the chances are, I don't know. I don't want to get into that kind of talk. But the thing is, I don't want to see the end of the world right now, because the end of the world would be a fucking mess. It'd be a civil war. We would be killing each other just to survive. And yep, yeah. Considering how we've handled the C word, yeah, it's not good. Because people were stocking up on toilet paper. People were you know, joining movements that were terrorist groups to basically take down anybody that stood in their way, supporting a message that was completely the opposite of what the message implies. To me, all lives matter. Not just black lives, not just white lives, all lives. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter what the color of your skin is. It doesn't matter your gender, your sex, your, if you're LGBT, it doesn't matter what you are. All lives matter. Everybody's life matters in the end. There is no way you can push that away, because we're all humans. We all live on the same exact planet. We breathe the same air. We shit the same shit. We pee the same urine. I mean, nobody is better than the other person. We are all humans and we all matter. Everybody's life matters. There's not just one group that should matter. And that's one thing that I really like about Tom MacDonald's song, All Lives Matter. Or No Lives Matter, excuse me. He's basically stating the facts of the world right now, and one of his lines in it is that basically, Black Lives Matter got so aggressive that now any other group that dares to even imply another message like it is considered the enemy. When we're all the same person, we have the same blood, the same heart, we have the same build, we have everything. We're all human. We're all just as what's the word, like, we're all just as, we all can die within just a split second, and there's nothing that can stop that. We are all just as vulnerable. That's what I was looking for. We're all just as vulnerable as anybody else. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter if you live in a mansion or if you live in a box. It doesn't fucking matter. All lives matter. Remember that. So if you see someone who's just supporting like one part of the movement, stop and think to yourself. Whether you're white, black, Indian, African, it doesn't matter. Ask yourself, what lives really matter? All lives matter. We're all the same people. We all come from the same place. We're all born from the womb. We all come from, the same exact place. And we're all faced with the same exact challenges that is given to us. So, all lives matter. Not just black lives, not just white lives. All lives matter. By basically saying that one group of color matters, like one group of people matters, we are dividing ourselves. We're basically being Napoleon. We're dividing ourselves from, what really matters. Like, how did Tom MacDonald put? I'm trying to remember. Oh, then we should all be coming together right now in this time. We should all be coming together in this time right now. But instead, an election is dividing us. A virus is dividing us. We're all being divided by stupid shit that is being used as ploys. We are basically being toyed with by the government, and it's working. We're all abandoning one another when we need to come together as Americans. We need to come together as people, and we need to stop this, because this is getting ridiculous. But all lives matter, not just black lives, not just white lives, not just African Americans. None of that should account into one group mattering over the other. All lives matter. Anyways, I got into some heavy talk right there. But just remember that the next time you think that one group matters, if you believe that, think about it. Think heavily about that. Because if you're black or white, if someone who doesn't really give a shit about, your group, what if they think that your life doesn't matter? That we should all be helping each other right now. We should. We should all be helping each other right now. But right now, we're divided as hell. And that's only going to continue to get worse if we continue this life of, judging each other based off of our views and everything like that. So think about that. And keep that in mind. The next time you see someone who's supporting one group, they aren't, being smart. And most of those groups went down really quickly when, the recounts were being made. But I'm not going to get any more political talk. But basically, stay safe and stay positive. I don't know what 2021 is going to bring. None of us do. But it's not to say that it's going to be any better than 2020. It could be worse. It could honestly be worse. We don't know. I don't think it can get any worse than 2020 was, but I don't know where we're going. All I can say is we just need to come together right now. We need to come together as Americans, as humans, as a united group of people. And we need to put an end to what is dividing us. We need each other right now more than anything. So make sure to tell, next time you see your family, or if your mom and dad are outside your door right now, like in a front room like my parents are, go tell them that you love them. Respect them. Let them know you care. Your brother, your sister, your cousins, your uncles, your aunts. Let them know you care. Because we're going to need every bit of firepower we can and every bit of numbers that we can when push comes to shove. And it's coming very, very fast. But that's all I'm going to say. Just remember, guys, it's not one life that matters, it's all lives. Thank you for joining me in this stream, and I hope to see you guys in 2021. Stay positive, stay safe, and until next time, happy horrors. Until next time.